What's going on, guys? Welcome to another live stream session. If you can hear me, you can see me, do hit the like button. If this is your first time on the live stream, thank you for stopping by. If you're watching this as a playback, thank you for doing so. Don't forget to hit the like button. And yes, if you haven't, please give consideration to subscribing. And if you've subscribed, hit that bell button and select the all option so you're notified when I'm live. And yeah, or if I upload any pre-recorded content. All right, so don't forget to do that. So let's talk about it. Today's topic. Good evening. I hope everyone has had a fantastic week so far. What's going on there? Excellent. Oh, if you can hear me, you can see me, smash that like button so we can gain traction. All right, let's talk about it. Somebody said, oh, Bisola Timbo Jola. All right, okay, I'll reply your email. I did see your email this morning. Bear with me. This weekend I'll get back to you. I promise. Okay, I will. Right, what's going on, people? So before we crack on, let me talk very quickly about the sponsor of this. So I am in partnership with Adron Homes. Adron Homes and Properties are based in Nigeria. I've been banging on about this. You're going to carry on seeing me talking about this. But for those that might be watching this for the first time, Adron Homes and Properties are basically a real estate company with very good track record. They're based in Nigeria. For as little as 25,000 naira, you can own a parcel of land. So for my brothers and sisters in the diaspora who are looking for how to invest, let me say very quickly, some of you have already sent me emails. Phrankleen, please send me the application pack. I am going to reply everyone this weekend. Just bear with me, okay? So the email will provide you with everything that you pretty much need. So let me, right. So I hope you can, let me see. I hope you can see my screen. Before I carry on talking, let me see if you can see my screen. Right. So basically, Adron Homes has got these offers going on. For as little as 25,000 naira, you can own a parcel of land. All right. People that have jumped on this offer already weeks ago, they can deposit 100,000, 200,000. Some even deposited 500,000, 300,000, or bought the land outrightly. But what I'm saying is, let's assume that you are inundated with bills. You are here in the West. There's opportunity for you to just deposit as little as 25,000, pay for your land on a monthly basis. So land is available in locations like Ede, Abuja, Ijebu-Ode, Ibadan, Badagry, Suleja, Atanta, which is in the Abeokuta area, Shagamu, Nasarawa, Oshogbo, Ibejuleki, Shimawa, and the list goes on. So the offers range from getting a 20% discount. So a prime example is, if you look at this parcel of land, which is Central Park and Gardens, it's one of the estates, which is in Abuja, Giri Gwalada in Abuja, forgive me. Actual price, 3 million. There's an offer still going on at the moment, 20% off, 2.4 million, at which you pay the rest in over 24 months. At 30% off is 2.1 million. At 40% off, which is the maximum discount, you can get the land for 1.8 million. All right. So like I said, if you're interested in buying outrightly, great stuff. You can buy for investment. You can buy in the interest of your children's future. If you've got no children, if you're thinking of yourself, put your money in land. It will appreciate. You cannot go wrong. Rather than putting that hard-earned money sitting in the bank, you're just logging in your app day in, day out. Before you know it, they call you from back home. Grandma fell from the roof. Your dad fell in the gutter. some mysterious thing happens, cuts into your money, you start all over again. And it might even be you yourself. Sometimes when we don't put money to use, you might get distracted, you might make silly decisions, and then your fund goes and you start all over again. You're broke. Tie them in land, tie them in real estate, and you watch them grow. So that's that. If you are interested in finding out more about this, all you got to do is just say, food, send me an email to foodchannel1960 at gmail.com. That's my email address on the screen. And say, all you got to do is, hi, Phrankleen, please send me an application pack. Okay. If you got any questions, come back to me. Now, what is my role? I am your agent. All right. I've got partnership with them. So you just send me the completed form and everything. Now, when it comes to the money bit, you're not paying Phrankleen your money. The money goes into the business account of Adron Homes. I reconcile, your payment and all that with the relevant department. I chase up on your paperwork. Everything comes into your inbox. You get everything. Okay. But if you got any questions, I'll be the guy to guide you, to liaise with you, to make sure things are done properly. It's as simple as blinking your eyes. All right. Send me an email to foodchannel1960 at gmail.com or look in the description below. If my internet is a little glitchy, forgive me, because I'm streaming directly on my DSLR camera. So it does get a little dodgy. So that's that. Thank you very, very much. Foodchannel1960 at gmail.com. Look in the description below if you want. Now, let's crack on with today's topic. How is gatekeeping affecting the Black community? So this one is going to be an interactive one. I want people to dial in. It's Friday, so let's have a bit of a chit chat. 2-3 minutes maximum, straight to the point, no waffling, no dancing around. I want us to, this is how, I don't want to just personalize, these topics. I've got things I'm going to talk about briefly, but it's nice to get different, fresh perspectives, different vibes, different interpretations. And, it makes for a great show. It makes for a very good and healthy learning process. Okay. So who is a gatekeeper? Just look at the dictionary definition of that word, gatekeeper, because some people might be slightly confused. What do you mean by gatekeeping? So who's a gatekeeper? There's a dictionary thing here. It says an attendant employed to control who goes through a gate. Point blank simple. So we have gatekeeping problems within the Black community. And I think interesting but very controversial topic. Over here, it's say it like it is. I love controversial topics. I am, unapologetically determined to touch on those topics that people like to sweep under the carpet. It's not designed to provoke anyone. And if you feel upset, go and watch Teletubbies or something else on YouTube. Leave us alone, okay? We must get better. You know what I'm saying? So somebody said Lawyer Ken may dial in today. Well, Mr. Ken, if you're watching us, you're free to join us. So now, there are two types of gatekeepers within our community. And Aunt Nam, you have, let me be clear, okay? Freedom of expression, okay, is allowed. I support freedom of expression on my platform. Before you get yanked, I keep saying this. Freedom of expression is not there for you to violate others and come on their platform, draw a battle line, or indulge in name calling and all that. It's very common with our people. Some people, maybe because they have limited vocabulary, okay, they have really poor, might be educational background that reflects in how they behave as adults. So just because you disagree with someone doesn't mean you resort to mudslinging and name calling. So the moment you start to name call, start using disparaging comments and insult the person, you've lost every credibility, and you're more than likely going to get timed out by, the moderators. So because you disagree with me, do it respectfully. Do you get what I'm saying? So if you start saying stuff like "shut up," this guy is useless, this, oh, and then you have the audacity to act surprised that you get blocked or you get timed out. Do you see what I'm saying? So yes, freedom of expression. Let's express ourselves. You can disagree with me or anyone else in the comment section. It's all great. We're adults, but don't turn my timeline to a battleground. Don't do that. No misogyny, no misandry, none of that nonsense. None of that nonsense. The moment you go in that direction, you get a straight sledgehammer in terms of the block button come on your head. Go. It's as simple as that. There's zero tolerance for that. If you go into the banks and then you have a complaint, for example, you notice if you go into most banks, they tell you that we have zero tolerance for abuse towards our staffs, or you're threatening them with physical assault and things like that. It's not because you haven't got the right to complain. If the bank is sitting on your money or doing something unlawful, you can even sue them. Do you see? But you can't go to the bank and start calling the bankers names and threatening them that you will smash their faces. You're going to get arrested and they can close your account. Do you see what I'm saying? Does that mean the bank doesn't want to deal with your complaint? Exactly. So actually, I agree with you, Phrankleen. On the last video, I said exactly what you said, and they timed me out. Weird. Oh, sorry about that, Ant. At least you're back here today. All right. Much love to you. So there are two types of gatekeepers in the black community. Hit the like button, please. Hit the like button. There are, we already know. You don't need Phrankleen to unpack that. We understand. At least most of us do. The black struggle and all that stuff. Okay? That we face if you live in the West, the daily microaggression, discrimination, the glass ceiling. I don't even call it the glass ceiling. I call it the metallic ceiling that's got concrete and iron rods and everything. Some argue, oh, regardless of the glass ceiling, I still, I earned everything that I have today, and I used to live in this part of London. I now live in Kent. My children are in private schools. Sometimes we use material and monetary accumulation as a yardstick, which I get it. You should be proud of yourself. And I'm also a believer in, let's, celebrate people if they've done well. Oh, somebody said, how do you call it? I'll post a link in a moment. North. 3 North. Okay? Just bear with me. Once I'm done talking, I'll post a link for people to dial in. Now, the problem that we have within the black community is people are tunnel visioned. A lot of people are tunnel visioned in the sense that it's a display of I like using Kent, not because I hate Kent. It's just a place I like measuring, because it's common within our community that if you were living in Southeast London and then change that you got a bit of money now, and then you decide to go live in a 5-bedroom detached house in Kent, which is not a bad thing, to upgrade your life and that of those of your children and wife or husband. It's not a bad thing, but it's how it gets into people's head and they become snobs. They are far up their own backsides, and then they think that people that exist in other parts of London or other parts of the country, they are now better than them. That's why I use that as an example. Not just because, you've worked, you've genuinely earned your money, and then you live in Basildon, you live in Essex, or you live in Kent, suddenly means you're a bad person. But of course, you guys are smart. You know exactly what I'm saying. So now, this is what I'm trying to say. Some of our people, because they've how do I say? Because they've done well for themselves, whatever it is they're doing, on an individual basis, on a personal basis, it gets to them. They become snobs. I've seen that 1,000,001 times. They detach themselves, they discredit the struggle of other people within the community. There is racism, there is discrimination in the UK, in the US, across the EU, everywhere. It's possible for you to have gone through the system. You've got kids in the system, and you've been lucky or you've been blessed enough to your children grew through being very small. They're now teenagers or they're now even in uni. And maybe you didn't exactly come under the spotlight of the social services maliciously targeting you. When you sit anywhere with those black people, they know what the challenges of the wider black community is. That's what I'm always interested in. But these people are the first to discredit the voices and the catalog of sufferings of their fellow black men and women. So, for example, maybe because, let's say, I've never been unlawfully arrested and I live a cushy life, I'm all right, I'm doing this, I'm okay. There's a bunch of black men and women that have been subjected to unlawful arrest. Some of them are unfortunately behind bars as we speak. So just imagine me sat somewhere and I'm so insensitive that I'm quick to say, oh, I've lived in the UK for X number of years, I've never seen, I've never experienced. Now that's one thing. I was talking, let's put that on hold for a moment. I was talking about two types of gatekeepers. There are the gatekeepers who I call them house Negroes, who they're usually appointed to stifle the movement and the progress and the get together within the black community to make sure things are disrupted. Any plans that have to do with collective forwardness, make sure you infiltrate, sabotage, destroy, they are directly answerable to their masters. Those black people exist. The other type of gatekeepers are the self-appointed gatekeepers who they don't necessarily have to be reporting directly to any masters. They are just poisonous. Partly, some of them, impact of the colonial damage that's done to a lot of our people. They self-appoint themselves. They are snitches. They are out. They're crabs in the bucket. They are out to just block you, to sabotage, to discredit. They are very selfish. So if they've managed to move up in ranks in terms of societal climb or career or something, if they make it through the doors of the financial services, if they are working in local authority, they have a managerial role and stuff, they will self-appoint. They will do everything and anything to make sure that they keep other black people out. They will make sure, even if there are some of their brothers and sisters in that organization, they will make sure that they don't climb up to where they are or where they've been. So like I said, two types of gatekeepers. They're the ones that are actively working for their masters, and they're the self-appointed ones. Some of you even have them in your own families. Some of them, they are your parents. Some of them are your siblings. Some of them are your cousins. They will sabotage your progress. We are unbelievably selfish in the black community. Unbelievably selfish. Unbelievably selfish. And I'm telling you, so when I'm talking about this, anytime I'm dealing with topics like this that may be deemed as controversial, believe me, I am looking at it this way. Zoom out, okay? We are very selfish. Thank you, Fuzeda. Is it Fuzeda? Fuzeda. Thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Thank you. Yeah, somebody said, just because you see another black person at work, doesn't mean they've got your back. Absolutely, 100%. I agree. Berthy Cabway, I agree. You see, okay, somebody might be watching this and saying, okay, Phrankleen, where is this going? Or what's the premise of these conversation? If we are banging on about black excellence and moving forward, changing the narrative, how we collectively get better as a group of people. You see, my concern stems from the point that black people, man, we got a long way to go, bro. We got a very long way to grow. I mean, to go, forgive me. We have a very long way to go. The oppressors, in the wider context of the society, the oppressors at the pinnacle of affairs, right? The global oppressors. You can spot them from a distance. You recognize them. The worst kind of oppressor, the deadliest kind of oppressor, are your own kind. The people that look like you, that are deeply rooted within our families, within our closely knit circles, within your jurisdiction, people that look like you and I. So imagine if you have a group of people, every one of us in the room, we're talking about pushing forward the black narrative, black excellence, black success, building our communities and stuff. Let's say there is 20 of us. Just imagine that in the 20, you've got 5 or 6 of them. They're ears on ground. They're gatekeepers. They're there to sabotage. They're there to glean every move, every plan, the blueprint of your plan, in fact, to make sure that, oh, these and these and these guys are at the pinnacle of affairs in terms of these ongoing projects that would spill into the wider black community, that will help people to climb and do well. Oh, they're the ones that would take the blueprint, the identities and the details to whomsoever they are reporting to, and they will make sure that the pioneers, the driving forces behind those brilliant ideas, are maliciously targeted, infiltrated. They might find themselves being set up, being entrapped in some form of criminality that they didn't plan for. The destroyer. Why am I saying this? Until these internal problems become absolutely defeated, to progress as a unit of people. Have you not noticed? Everywhere where 2, 3, 4, or 5 or more black people are gathered, and there is a brilliant idea. It could be one of our sisters that came up with the idea. It could be one of our brothers. It could be a combination of both gender, right? That came up with this brilliant idea. There are gatekeepers on ground to sabotage. And I know if we unpack it, because of the years of colonial damage, a lot of our people in our community have sold out. They've absolutely destroyed. They've left the door open both in the front and in the back. They've conspired for peanut, for brown envelopes, and this is what's going on in the motherland in Africa. A lot of the people that you're looking at in powerful places, African leaders, most of them, they're sellouts. And what's the primary job of gatekeepers? They are rewarded for their actions. They are rewarded for causing disruption internally. They're rewarded for suppressing the voices of those that are struggling. They're rewarded for beating down their brothers and sisters. They're rewarded for making sure that the black dollars or the black sterling or the black euros does not circulate. They're rewarded to make sure the manufacturing remain on its knees. They're rewarded to make sure that anybody with a brilliant idea within the community Those ideas are infiltrated to keep us on our knees. I was about to say, so our leaders are selling us out and stifling our progress. Of course. Thank you, Les Bradley. Gatekeepers, cardboard cutouts. Thank you. I like that. And puppets. See, I got news for you. There is a jaw-dropping amount of gatekeepers within the Black community than some of you would ever imagine or be able to even begin to decipher. Trust me, I see it all the time. The moment you sit somewhere, all right, and you're talking to a group of Black folks, and for example, here in the West, and say, for example, you're talking about racism. Say you're a victim of racism, or your family is a victims of racism, and you're discussing. Anytime you're talking about your experience, I'm talking about my experience. I'm talking about my family's experience. The moment you open your mouth to talk about, oh, this is what my family's gone through, it might be institutional racism, it might be a form of discrimination, and this and this and this. These gatekeeping Black folks, they lack empathy. This is how you spot them. Any Black person that instantaneously detach their lower jaw from the top jaw and instantaneously blurt out things like, "Oh well, wow, I'm as a social worker that's worked for the local authority for the past 20 years of my life in the UK. I'm sorry, it's wow, it's quite shocking, but I've never seen racism in my life." Those are gatekeepers. I shut them down faster than the speed of light. Now, it depends on the kind of setting you find yourself. Some of you get sucked in. You find yourself trying to explain away. They always manipulate you mentally. They are the type of people that when you're very expressive about your sufferings or what you've dealt with or how you've been treated or your family have been treated, they are the ones that try to tell you, no, 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 no. That's no, 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 no. That's no, 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 no. Let's not get too. No, no. That's a bit too much. They want you to keep your voice down. They are house Negroes. Like I said, so they are either self-appointed, because a lot of them, in exchange for their paycheck, and I'm not sat here telling you that I'm trying to suggest that my brother or my sisters out there should damage their paychecks or lose their paychecks because of Phrankleen or because of whatever challenge that I've personally gone through or any other Black person. Come on, man, you've got to be barking mad to think that way. But most of our people, they talk the talk. Like when you have a room full of Black folks, they talk the talk when it comes to like, oh, racism is a very popular topic, discrimination. Most Black people will yap away. When it comes to walking the walk, the mask starts to slip off. The mask starts to slip off. In fact, they are usually the first set of people to throw you under the bus. This is what I'm telling you, man. There's a huge amount of gatekeepers within the Black community. They are sellouts. Some of them are even your family members, like I said. Don't get it twisted. Because you shared the same womb with your brother and or your sister doesn't mean if your sister gets the chance to sell you out to the highest bidder, they wouldn't. Oh, they will. Some of you, your dad, your mom will sell you out. Those Black people that would, there's another very common one here in the diaspora. Those Black folks that will come up with, oh, I live in an area whereby it's just me and my wife and children. We are the only Black people living in that area. Boy, if you don't shut your goddamn mouth. So are we supposed to give you a medal? In fact, for the most part, especially outside London, when you live in those type of areas, it makes a lot of black people easy targets because you find yourself that in the jurisdiction that you find yourself in a particular area, when you are outnumbered, well, you have limited type of people that look like you, friends and all families, and you're just there with maybe you and your wife or you and your husband, you and your children. Those who are racist or those who grew up with toxic mindset would maliciously target you. You can live in a particular area whereby they can actually ostracize you from within the neighborhood by conspiring with the local police or conspiring with the local authority or just making your life dreadful. Things as simple as parking. They can join forces on your local street in your area, and they can just find a way to try to make your life unbearable. They can maliciously target you. They use local connection and they'll try to frustrate you, target you, even go all the way to your workplace. Somebody said this predicament is a symptom of a general unconsciousness that is undeniable, common inheritance of all black kind. Doesn't apply to me. Yeah, like you said, Mel B, especially in the workplace. I was going to come to that in a moment. Workplace gatekeeping by black folks. Woo! A black brother or black sister will throw their own kind on the rail tracks faster than the speed of light. Just because they desperately want a pat on the back from their masters. They will self-appoint, that's what I'm saying. Just why your white line managers probably, to be fair, in some instances, they're not really that bothered. If you're not pulling your weight, they're within their rights. They're your employer. If you got bad timekeeping or you're not delivering in terms of your skill sets, they got the right to pick up on that and say, hey man, what's going on? But it be your own kind, your fellow black brother and or black sister that will slide into that manager's office that will tell on you. I've heard so many stories. I've got some stories that I'm yet to even touch on till date, where a friend helped a friend within our community to get a job in the same organization. What happened? The guy conspired with the white colleagues to flush this guy out because he knew that his friend that brought him into that organization was about to move up in ranks to get promoted. He wanted to sabotage his friend, started telling on him, started forming pact, workplace politics against your own kind. It's prevalent within the black community. We hate to see ourselves rise. It's all well and good. We talk about racism, and racism exists 100%. But you know what? Let's leave the oppressors on the scaffolding for a moment. Let's leave them on the shelf just for a split second, man. I'm talking internally now, man. The toxicity is absolutely staggering. Most of these gatekeepers are the most religious charlatans that you will come across. They are the ones that sit in the front row of all your churches and your mosques. They are devious, evil, terrible people. They are the ones that even compare kids. My child is better than her child. My children wearing better dresses than that. It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. They are the ones that they will, like I was saying earlier, they will suppress the struggle of their own kind. They will discredit you. They lack empathy. Tell them that, oh, I've just gone through unlawful termination of my employment at so company. The rebuttal, they just come back with, well, I've worked for the local authority for like 12 years of my life, and I've never had any workplace. I don't know, I work with a lot of white people, Sha. I work with a lot of white people, and it's why do you do that? This bunch of BASTARDS with exclamation mark behind it. Why do you do this? You want the master's favors so badly. You strip yourself of your integrity. You want a pat on the back. You destroy your own kind. You throw them on the train tracks. You don't understand, man. Yes, thank you, Shima. It's a form of self-hate. Absolutely. 100%. So look at you. You don't understand how deeply, yes, gaslighting ourselves. You don't understand. Somebody is suffering. Somebody is going through it. Look, if I meet you and you were telling me about how maybe you were made homeless, and I don't know, I don't have the supernatural powers to verify your stories, but there is something called empathy, right? So, oh, I got thrown out, I got kicked out of my house unlawfully or unfairly by the local authority, and I'm listening to my own kind, even any other human being, like, oh man, oh, I got sacked at work. The most I would do was maybe try to just ask to get a bit of insight into what happened. And so, oh man, because I complained that a white colleague said this and this to me. And then in going forward, they started getting me, started targeting me. And before I knew it, they terminated my employment and kicked me out. There's something called empathy. I mean, there is nothing I can do on there except if that person asks me further questions like, oh, Phrankleen, do you have any information on how I can get another job or get into another company and stuff like that? Then, of course. But somebody tells you that they've just been fired, and then you instantaneously hijack and suppress their suffering by saying, oh, well, I've lived in Leeds for 13 years and I've worked for the local authority there, or I've been in Manchester, I worked for the local authority there for 10 years, and I work with white colleagues, and sometimes when you respect people, they respect you in return, and that person who is a victim of unlawful termination of their employment, he stood in front of it with their jaw literally on the ground, and they're like, huh? And you even rub it in their faces, like, oh, well, and then especially that line in our community, Nigerian community, you hear things like, oh, it is well. It's okay anyway, take care. Let me know if you need anything and stuff. At most, it's even a lie. They've got nothing to offer you. They will make mockery of you. And that's the mentality of I'm better. A lot of us talk the talk. This is what I'm trying to bang on about. Black folks talk the talk, don't walk the walk. We are unbelievably evil amongst and against ourselves. How do you move forward as a unit of people? Some black people's interpretation of success is as long as I've got a healthy bank balance, I'm working as an IT consultant, I'm contracting, I'm earning £5,000-6,000 after tax a month. My wife brings home 3.5 or 4 grand or whatever. I pay my mortgage, I drive a BMW. I can take my children on holiday to Disneyland. I'm all right. I live in Kent. I'm okay, man. I can wear whatever Ralph Lauren and Gucci's and Pradas and Armani's. Why should I bother? They don't care. And some of these people that are gatekeepers, until one day when they get smashed on their heads, they come back running to the same people that you dissociated yourself from, and then now asking for help. Let me share the link. This is why I keep saying we have a long way to go, man. We have a long way to go. If you want to talk, please click on that link. 2-3 minutes max, okay? Click on that link, come talk to me. Exactly. Why is it competition though? Why is it so toxic? I'm telling you, man. You know, we talk about, oh, some of these are blah 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 colonial damage. I get that. You see, look at this one, look at this one, look at this one, look at this. A Nigerian supervisor told an Englishman, maybe an English manager, to fire his own Nigerian brother. The Englishman refused. If that's a true story, props to that Englishman. You see what I'm saying? In fact, some of us are unbelievably vindictive that we we catch a buzz, we catch a buzz, we derive pleasure in the suffering of other people. We wallow in that toxic pleasure. You like to see your brothers bitten down. The gatekeepers, fellow black community, it's only black folks. You call immigration on yourselves. It's madness. Hello, Dio. Is it Diogo?
What's good, Phrankleen? How you doing, man?
I'm all right, brother. What have you got for us?
Yeah. So great topic here, but yeah. Uh, as Black people, we are very polluted in our subconscious mind. You understand? So it's something you need to go on a self-reflection to understand it. And subconsciously, as Black folks, we think we deserve less from life. You understand? So those are the things you're bound to see it happen amongst us. I'm from Africa, Mozambique, and you find a lot of these situations right here. It's a subconscious thing that we gotta fight.
Hmm.
So it will take a lot of work. Is we think we deserve less from life is something I actually saw it. So when you see another big person successful or actually doing something for themselves, like starting their own business, things start to you kind of start getting a little bit like angry at them. It's something that happens here with black folks, man.
But you see, how do we? This is the ultimate question. How do we progress as a unit of people if generation after generation we keep acknowledging these issues and we do nothing about it? Because look at other people. I'm not suggesting that any other community is absolutely perfect. Definitely not. But look at other communities. Yeah. The only reason
Yeah.
they're able to progress is because of togetherness. They win together.
Mm.
Doesn't mean within their communities, oh, they don't have elements of jealousy or they don't have human issues like every other person may have. But for the most part, they grow together. They buy together. If you take for example any organization, bro, if you employ one or two Indians, give it some time, man. Those two Indian brothers or Indian brothers and sisters, they're going to bring their people in.
Yeah.
And this is how they win together.
Now, what's hindering our collective work? It's actually the our egos as black people. We have massive egos that kind of hinders our progress because you see when other races when they wanna flex their ego, they look at other races of people to show how great they are compared to them and what kind of venture they're in. But a black folk, his ego is mostly touched when he competes with another black person. So this is the things that hinders our progress.
Right.
It's the ego. So moving forward, I think we should link up with black people who are actually conscious about certain things and they want to do better for themselves and ignore the rest. You know, we gotta start taking control of our narrative.
Thank you, my brother. I appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right, man. Thank you, Diogo. Paula.
Hello?
Hi. I can hear you loud and clear.
Oh, okay. I think I agree with Franklin what you said initially that if you look at it, if you go back in terms of colonialism, that's kind of where it began, whereby black people have this self-hate within them that was sort of built in from when colonialism was there. But at the same time, some of it is really disgusting, to be honest. Like this experience started for me when I was young, when I went for my first job at McDonald's, funny enough. And I said to my mom, well, I had an interview with a black woman, so I felt a bit more comfortable, if that makes sense. And she laughed at me and she said, let me tell you something, as you grow up, you actually realize that some black people are more racist than any white person you will ever meet, or they have more self-hate that they try and push other black people down. And sure enough, I didn't get the job. But the funny thing is, I went back to the same position, had an interview with a white manager, and she gave me the job. And as I was working there, this woman, the black lady that I had the interview with, made my life so hard at that job. And I was trying to figure out, what is this lady's issue? But again, like, I agree with everything that you said. And the other thing I want to encourage black people to do as well, if you're in a field whereby you see opportunities whereby black people can excel, it's very important for you to give these opportunities to people of color and let people know about them. Like at the moment, I know a lot of black people are in nursing, and I always try and educate people that there's this career called a physician associate, whereby you're working as a band 7 within the NHS, and you're earning starting pay, I think, like 45k, and you can do like a 2-year master's as a nurse, of which not a lot of black people know about it. But I try and spread the word in the community. So I just wanted to take this opportunity just to let everybody know about it.
Can I say something quickly, right, Paula?
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that, raising that point, which you are absolutely right. And I've personally spoken to some black folks in the past, right? Some of our people, you got to give credit where credit is due, yeah? Some of our people actually try. They do try. You've got to give credit to some of those black folks where, like you said now, where they see opportunities, they actually get out of their way to share that information. Like, hey, yo, people within their jurisdiction, jump on this, jump on that. Hey, man, there's an opportunity here. But you see, tying this back into what I've been saying, these gatekeeping charlatans, imagine you're working, say, within the NHS, like you were saying, yeah? You know me as a person. You say, hey, Phrankleen, man, hey, bro, look, man, XYZ is going on. Jump on this. This will be beneficial, blah, blah, blah. And then I get in there. Remember, that's the place you make your daily bread now. I then get in there. Few months down the line, I then conspire with maybe the white counterparts at work. I then start orchestrating office politics against you to sabotage your own paycheck. This happens as well. So I've heard some people say to me that, frankly, listen, man, look, I would like to help, yeah, and bring somebody in. Let me shock you with this very quickly. There was a case of a brother, yeah?
Yeah.
Now, if we want to talk about the ethical side of things, we might say, blah, 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 he shouldn't have done it. This brother, yeah, helped a friend getting into a company as a contractor. He was on about, I think, £500-600 a day as a business analyst. So he saw the role of I think a PMO analyst or something. It helped his friend, even helped him package the references and all that. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To get in. My man got in there, saw that his friend was a high flyer at work, doing very well. So it's like, you helped me to get in somewhere. And then as a sort of a way to maliciously target you, let's say when you got in as a business analyst, I know how you got your reference or something within your CV to get in. And then suddenly one day, I then go off tangent and go and divulge that to the white counterparts at work. What do you think is going to happen with the HR? Look, man, I am telling you, this is the evilness that exists in a lot of black folks. Because to me, that to me is just the height of wickedness, to get out of your way, to sabotage. And not, look, I would say this blatantly. Some people, I might make a video on my YouTube channel. You know me, I'm a content creator, yeah? It's okay. You can watch any of my videos and you might just disagree with the entirety of what I've said. That's absolutely fine. Some people, they don't leave comments like this. They will send me an email. And I've had some of our people, this guy, I will destroy your channel. I will make sure you don't ever exist again. And I will read all these emails like, what happened to you, man? Like, what's wrong with your personal life? What is going on in your life that you're filled with so much hate? I would disregard them. Some of them, I might mark it as spam. They go look for another email. Look, man, I've had death threats from black people over YouTube content. I'm not breaking any law. I'm not infringing on anyone's fundamental human rights just because you disagree. These people are insane.
Oh gosh.
You know, and until we change these attitude, I like what you said earlier. You know, you have this opportunity, you give to, I can assure you, will I sit here and say, my sister, don't help? No, I give you a ton of credit. Help people that you can help. But the reason why some people are apprehensive is exactly what I explained. Why would somebody help you to get into somewhere, get you through the door, and then you conspire against that person to actually take them out? Then
No,
you then start
100%.
biting your fingers that, oh, had I known, I wouldn't have, helped these people. How do we then make progress?
Yeah, I understand your point that you're making. And in life, there will always be very wicked people everywhere you go. But at the same time, I feel like anybody that does that, I think life has a way to remind you, especially if you're a black person who thinks they're above racism. I always say this to my brother because he tries to kind of stay away from racial issues or like, getting involved in debate about race, them ones. So I always say to him, I will never try and convince you to fight for your rights as a black person, because life is a way of reminding you that you're a black person in this world and these people view you as a black person. So you might be conspiring with them today to destroy another black person, but eventually those people will come back to do the same thing to you.
Absolutely.
That's the way I look at it. So again, guys, jump on this opportunity, a 2-year master's, and you'll be a band 7 practitioner within the NHS. I know everyone wants to do nursing, it's easy, but in the long run, you need to start working smarter and looking for more opportunities to get to higher places without breaking your backs and, doing the most. But yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Paula. I appreciate you, my sister, man. Thank you. Love and light to you, man. Thank you. Thank you. I love that energy, man. That's brilliant. Sahara, go.
Hey, Phrankleen.
How you doing, brother?
Oh, how are you?
I'm all right, thanks.
Thanks. Keep up the good work. I really appreciate this conversation. This is the actually I did send you a little something under my other name, Fuzida. I appreciate your work. I really do. And this is a very enlightening topics, and I hope that these people are listening. We have really become a slave to our own making, to be honest with you. In the past, a lot of us came here, a lot of black folks came to the West in chains. Right now, we are bringing ourselves in chains, because when I live in US, I live in California.
Right.
I've been here for quite some time now, almost going on 40 years, to be honest with you. And I've seen the ups and downs of America, especially, how things have evolved over the years from the first time I came here to where we are today. And what really breaks my heart is trying to convince a Nigerian, an African, that just like you're doing in your show, that
yes, sir.
I watched one of your episodes yesterday, talked about I believe that was about the gentleman Mr. Kizim talked about how he had bought almost 23 acres of land in Lagos, I believe.
That gentleman, yes.
I watched that yesterday, actually. It was a very nice talk, very nice gentleman. But one of the things that I'm finding so difficult, I just came back from Nigeria about 2-3 weeks ago. I was in Lagos. Okay. You talk to any Nigerian, again, I'm going to make this statement specifically to Nigerians, because a lot of people are looking up to us. And a lot of people, a lot of Africans, a lot of black folks are looking up to us. And they're looking up to us to do better than what we're doing. We tend to blame the government for everything, all the problems that we have. And granted, we have a lot of problems that governments are the part of the problem, but they are not the only problem. They're not. So we need to do better. And I have had a situation myself personally, like the young lady was saying earlier, where I brought somebody in. I hired a person. This was somebody I hired at a restaurant where I used to work long time ago, back in the 80s. Yeah. And, it was a policy without having to go into take too much of your time. Yeah. But sometimes the person that you're afraid of the most in a job place is not the white person.
It's your own kind.
It's your own kind. Because I remember a situation where I worked in a kitchen in a restaurant somewhere in Virginia, and back in the 80s, and I hired this job, brought my brother into the job place. And I was fired because he reported that I took chicken home, a whole baked chicken. No, you're laughing, but this is the truth. And the reason for that was because, it was a practice that, we have our lunch. During lunchtime, you get your food, whatever you want, you take and eat. But on that day, I didn't have time because we were so busy. So when I was getting ready to leave, I took my own lunch, which was a chicken, half of the chicken that I had, one of these small hands at the serving restaurant. And I packaged it. I came back to work the next day. I was called to the office that I took a whole chicken home with me. No, and I was fired for that.
Wow.
And when I was fired, this guy became at that time was a line cook. I was a line cook in the restaurant. He became a line cook. So, and that's very sad. You see that everywhere you go, in almost all positions, to the point where you're afraid to bring your own kind into what you're doing. So, but I listened intently to what you said earlier. We as Africans need to do better. I remember the case of George Floyd, where he said, the police has the knees on his neck. We have allowed these folks to have their knees on our necks. And you talked about, Chinese, nothing against them, buying almost every land in Nigeria today. That's a fact. That is ongoing, and it has continued to, while we are busy killing each other, destroying each other, these folks are coming in very quietly, gathering and taking as much as they can take.
They are buying. Thank you, my brother. This is what I was saying in one of my videos. You see, especially this is what I'm saying, like the benefits and the dangers of being in the diaspora, because in a way you're sucked into the diasporan life. You're living your life in the West. What's going on back door on the motherland, like what you're saying? These people, they're not playing. The Chinese don't come in and say, hey man, give me one plot of land there. Oh, give me 2 plots. No. They're not even buying acres. They are buying hectares.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, my goodness. I've heard stories where, let's say you, as a man, you have maybe a 5-acre land that you've had for some time and that belongs to you, yeah? And maybe next to you, they're buying like maybe 20 acres and they want your 5 acres. And then you are like, no, sorry, man, I'm not selling. Because very rightly so, you can decline because you don't want to sell. They would even conspire with our local authorities. I've heard stories where they would conspire. They've infiltrated our land registries with corrupt black folks to make sure that they snatch your land off you, give you hell. I've seen these things, man. And it's called land grabbing. They are moving in like this. So, I look at some of our people, you sit here, everyone is wherever they are in the world. And that's why I say, hey, yo, take your money, take your sterling, bet on the Forex that, go and own parcels of land. You might think you don't need it today. Tie it down, pass it on to the next generation. Because if black people are not careful, in the not so distant future, if we are not careful, we may become tenants in our own lands.
Absolutely, I agree.
That's where they're going. Look at Ghana, Namibia, or is it Ghana, all of these places. It's been taken over by the Chinese. They bought everything. What do you think is going to happen in 10 years, in 20 years, in 30 years? Go on, my brother, so I can get someone else on.
Well, thank you, though. I'm going to stop here and let somebody else stop. But again, this is my first time coming. I appreciate the show
very much. I appreciate
I'll be training quite frankly from here on. Thanks so much again.
All right. Right. Ella.
Hi,
Hi,
Phrankleen.
Ella.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I hope you're doing well.
I'm all right, thanks. You?
I'm okay. I just want to throw in a few points. Starting with, we are our own enemy. I'm going to start from the religion aspect of it. So, when you go to church and someone tells you that I am your enemy, and that you should pray against your enemy, that's our biggest problem. And then you start praying, die, 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 die. So anytime you see me, instead of seeing a brother or a sister, you see an enemy. So if I ask you for anything, the first thought is going to be, why would I give you this? You are my enemy. So that's our biggest problem. I see you, I don't see Phrankleen. I see enemy number one. I go home, you become my prayer point because I see you as someone that's coming to take something from me. And each move you make, or each move I see that you make to be bigger than me or higher than me, I pull you down because you are my enemy. So religion still is the biggest, worst thing that happened in Africa. Because I have had so many instances where religious people are the worst people I've seen. I'm very sorry to any religious person.
No. Don't be sorry, my sister. Speak your truth, please.
But
not on my platform. Speak your truth. Don't apologize.
The most backbiting, egoistic, narcissistic people I have ever met. They are they always see no fault in whatever they are doing. As long as they call the name of God or Jesus, they are 100% right. They do no wrong. They can do no wrong. They pray, they say fire and fire and fire and fire. Why are you firing me, my brother? Waiting I do you. And at the end of the day, you realize that we have this pull him down, pull her down syndrome, all centered around religion. Once we go to church on Sunday, or go to church and make and do all sort of this, really, or that, we are okay. And any other person that comes across us becomes our enemy. And when I newly came abroad, when I came to abroad newly, I had this guy that somehow got my number. I don't know, my husband must have kept his phone somewhere, and then the guy got my number. And the guy started texting me that I am going to suffer.
Wow.
I'm going to suffer. My husband has got no papers and he doesn't deserve someone like me. And I kept asking, who are you? And then my husband will go out. He said, wow, I met all the friends. And I'm suspecting it must be one of those people. And lo and behold, we go to the same church. First of all, that was why I stopped going to church here. We go to the same church. The person that was texting me to leave him, we go to the same church.
To leave your husband?
To leave him. Yeah. We go to the same church. So at the end of the day, you realize that religion, once you remove religion from whatever we are doing, I think we'll start making progress. Because even the people that gave us religion, they don't reason the way we do.
Thank you. That's the point. But of course, I will also clarify that though. The reason they don't reason the way that we do is they embedded the religion into our system to sabotage the minds and thought process of our people, generations after generation. It's intentional. So it's like this. You are the manufacturer of poison, right? You give the poison to people to take and it kills them slowly. You're not going to take the poison because you made it. You know exactly what's in that product. So that's the difference. So sometimes when we say, oh, these white people that gave us the religion, oh, look at them, they're not so crazy about it, because they know precisely. This is a generational thing. The perpetrators, the chief orchestrators are all dead, but this agenda has been passed down generations, if that makes sense. So that's why I use the analogy of poison. If you are manufacturing poison, right, and you're putting it into the wider public, you're not going to take that poison. If I drop poison into a cooler full of jollof rice so that the people that consume it can die, I would pretend like I'm serving anybody. I'm not going to put a grain of rice from that cooler in my mouth, because I know that the moment it enters into my system, I will touch the ground and I may die. That's exactly what the problem.
Exactly, Franklin. Exactly. It's coming out from religion and facing culture. We also have that in our culture. Somehow we inherit generational malice that we know nothing about. And
oh no, I've lost you. And you were saying, making very good points there. If you want to come back, please come back. Motherland Inspiration. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Franklin. Greetings to everyone.
Greetings.
I've been following your channel, and thank you very much for all the wisdom and knowledge that you're pouring out there. I appreciate. I live in Switzerland, and yeah, I've had my own experience also in the working well with the so-called gatekeepers. I was trying to get a position in my workplace as a manager, and it was proving really difficult, only for me to find out that it was a Black sister standing on my way, because I was supposed to have a training. You know, they wrote that an opportunity for young people, you get trained, it doesn't matter if you don't have experience. So when I realized she was the one, I was emotional, because this is someone I used to sit with her during the break, and I explained all my dreams and vision and everything, and she thought I was just a little bit too much. So somehow one of the colleagues there told me that, don't worry, you can try again next time. And then she called the girl's name, and she said, she believes that you are not ready yet. And then I was like, what? But she's encouraging me to do this, and she's already one of the managers. But when she goes to the board meeting or whatever, and somebody is putting my name forward, she is the one who is saying, I am not ready yet. But meanwhile, oh my God, meanwhile, she in front of me, she's telling me, oh sister, go for it, you can do it and all that. So I approached her, and I was like, I'm really shocked that you are the one standing on my way. She told me that, I'm sorry, but I have to tell you, I have to slow you down. I grew up here. That's another thing. The Africans who came here, maybe very young, they behave different from those of us who came here when we were already adult. They kind of like the ones who grew up here, from my experience, they kind of look at us as if they are better than us, because they grew up with these Europeans, they went to school with them. That's how it exists. That's how it is here in Switzerland. And those of us
it's the same way in the UK. It's the same way.
And those of us who are coming as adults already, what happens is that there is competition. But the ones who are here, they don't really feel like they're competing with us. They feel like they are better than us, because they went to kindergarten here, maybe went to school here. So she was telling me that I had to slow you down because you are too ambitious. When I came to this company, I waited for 2 years before I asked for anything, but I heard that you went for salary increment already after 6 months, even though they gave you have to be careful. You are moving too fast. I know these white people more than you. Those kind of statements, as if she's looking out for me. Meanwhile,
man.
Yeah, she told me like this. Look, my food was cold in front of me during break. I couldn't eat. I was so shocked. For me, it was like a stab in the back. Frankly, this girl used to encourage me. She told me that, oh, you can do it and this and that. I like the fact that you're following your dreams. And then she's taking all these things and telling her, she's telling it against me. Like, for me, it was the greatest betrayal I've ever experienced in my working life, honestly. And then when she realized I was really angry, I left. She came to me and she told me that, there can only be one Black manager in this company, and that person is me. I'm not willing to share this space with anybody. The way you are coming, you are all over the place. You feel like you are bringing this African mentality. You are over ambitious. I should take it easy. Like, to be honest, I didn't even know what to say. I was staring at this girl until she left. It was when she left, I felt like my brain was paralyzed at that moment. hearing this word come out of an African sister, from that day, when I get to a place, to be honest with you, Phrankleen, if I see a black person, I'm more careful with that black person than the Europeans around.
I understand you. That's exact. Look, man, I must first of all thank you for even sharing this story, because it aligns fully with all that I've said before people started calling in. This is,
for her to tell me that there can only be one black manager. I mean, how could she even say that kind of a thing to me?
Yeah, that's the mentality. That's a self-appointed gatekeeper that has taken it upon herself to destroy you, to make sure that you don't get through, move up in ranks and have a better career progress. So if she could even set you up to get, fired, she would do it. This is exactly what I am talking about.
And when I came newly, she was always coming to sit with me. She was asking me a whole lot of questions, like, how did you get this job? Did you apply direct, or did you pass through someone? So somebody told me, one Swiss girl told me that be careful. All black girls who got close to this girl for some reason got fired. So be careful the way you are talking to her. It was a Swiss girl who told me this. And so she asked me all these questions, and I was telling her that, I applied, and I was surprised. They picked my CV and they called me and I came. So she told me that she is a friend to the boss's daughter. They went to school together because she went to school here. So it was the girl who, through the girl's connection, that she came here. So she was kind of bragging that her feet they're standing firm in this company. She's not going to anywhere anytime soon.
Wow. Anyway, thank you very much for sharing your story, my sister. I appreciate it.
So,
thank you.
Thank you.
Man. Mbali.
Good evening. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. So what do you think?
Oh, wow. Again, it goes back to when I first came to this country in 2003. I remember I met somebody, and this was a black person. And he said to me, Bali, in this country, if you want to be successful as a black person, the first thing you must do is avoid black people. Now, I was so shocked when I heard that, because I thought, wow, these are my fellow people. Why would why do I need to avoid them? And he just said, black people, just be very careful, especially, Africans, avoid them at all costs. And now it makes sense. It makes sense because, yeah, sometimes you think you're helping somebody by trying to, get them, if you've got a good job and trying to get them into the company.
So sorry to cut you, right? Just give me one quick moment. Just look at this, right? Let's unpack that statement. I mean, yeah. I'm quite familiar with that statement too. If you want to make it, if you want to progress, avoid. I think it stems from the age-old colonial damage, you dig, whereby if you look at it, they sow a seed of discord amongst you. So basically, you got to avoid me. I've got to avoid you. There is what that means is deeply rooted, evidence of mistrust. Yeah. So we're skating on thin ice, walking on eggshells around each other. I don't trust you. I'm hiding this, you're hiding that. Everyone is just looking at you like a potential criminal. So that's like wildfire into our society. So do you see how that destroys, and that has destroyed us severely?
It has.
So how then can we even begin to talk about black excellence and building together?
Exactly. Where do you start when the mess? I mean, it's a big mess. Like you don't know where you would start, because people say, "Oh, I believe in black excellence. I believe in black excellence," but what are you doing to show that you believe in it? Because again, it's so many, like the people have said, they've tried to get people into the company. They've gotten people into company only for the person to sabotage them and get them fired,
Why would you want to do that again? Because one bad experience, if it costs you your bread and butter, why would you want to do that again? And that's the sad thing, because now you're putting us all black people into one box, that all black people are the same, when unfortunately, when actually no, we're not. There's so many good people out there, and there's so many good, smart black people out there with so much potential. But sometimes all it is, you just need to be given that chance. And then again, also with the religious nut jobs out there, they I remember I met a brother once. I was actually in Westfield and Stratford, and he just stopped me, and he said, "Oh, hi, my sister, how are you?" And I said, "Okay, I'm fine. How are you?" He said, "Oh, I'm fine." Just started, asking about me generally, and then he said to me, "Oh, what church do you go to?" And at that time, I said, "Oh, I don't have a church." And he said, "Oh, you don't have a church?" He was so shocked about that. I said, "Well, yes, I don't have a church. I don't go to a church, and that is my decision." He said, "Oh, okay, my sister, let me pray with you." And I said, "Why do you need to pray with me? It is my decision that I don't have a church. It's not the end
He
of the
was
world."
he was trying to pray your phone number into his
Yeah. Yes. Oh, I'll pray with you. I just don't know. Again, if you don't go to church, you don't have a church, something is wrong with you as a black person. Like, oh, seriously, this nonsense needs to stop. It needs
Thank
to stop.
you, Mbali. Thank you.
Thank
I
you. Thank
appreciate
you.
you.
Take
Thank you
care.
very much. Yeah. Thank you, my sister. I appreciate you. VA.
Hello.
Hello. I can hear you loud and clear. Go on.
Hi, Phrankleen.
Hiya.
Thank you very much for bringing me on. I would just like to say that I've looked at everything holistically, and I can categorically say that we need to have some kind of structure, like a strategy in place to practically deal with this situation, because it starts from the mindset. And it starts from the way we articulate things, the way we look at the world in detail.
Yeah.
I think it's more of a concern for me, looking at things as they are. And from my workplace, and from my personal experience and the way we deal with each other, it's more like, if I don't rise, you do not rise.
Yeah.
If I don't grow, then why should you grow?
Yeah.
And I don't know where that's coming from, but I know that whatever mindset we have is not helping us, because we can only grow if we work together as a team.
No, that emanates from, I like what you said, but just to clarify that, so we can all learn as we proceed. It emanates from, or emanated from, colonization, because the divide and conquer template, right, is a generational weapon that's been deeply embedded into the black community. Naturally speaking, we're very strong people, right? Both spiritually and physically, the way we're designed, we're wired. So the way to keep these people destabilized is actually to sow a seed of discord. Because one of the worst things that can happen to a group of people is if there's mistrust that's spread like virus amongst them, right? I don't trust you. You can't even trust me. Like, we're saying earlier, and, avoid your own kind, avoid that one, avoid these. We're too busy with this truckload of distractions. So how do you even mentally advance to the point where you can say to me, "Hey man, Phrankleen and a group of other people, here's a brilliant idea. Let's build together. Let's do this. Let's have this. Let's think of the next generation." We are too busy and preoccupied with nonsense. So instead of me saying, "Oh, this is my sister at work, you are winning," instead of you looking at me as I'm winning, doesn't matter if there's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 black people in this open plan office. But instead of that, I take it upon myself, collude with my white counterparts at work, and lie and look for a way to discredit you and make sure you get fired or you lose your job or get demoted or something, so that I can only move up in ranks. And when I'm there, I'll even be on further steroid to make sure that any other person that come after you, I'll be at the heart of job interview. do everything to make sure they catch them out about timekeeping, ruin them, beat them down, as long as I'm up there, pandering to the so-called, masters. So that's just one of the major problems that we have. That's the way I see it.
Yeah, I agree, 100%. And I think that we need to have some kind of strategy in place from now on going forwards, because we cannot continue like this. It's a broken community, and it's broken in every way, in the way we think, the way we act, the way we see things, the way we relate with each other is a concern. And I'm sorry, but the white counterparts, they see us this way. They see us this way. They see us in a certain way, in a very embarrassing way. White people will say, I've heard a white person say, I don't know why black people think like this. I've heard that. I've heard that from a white man. He said, I don't know why black people think like this. So there's a problem, and psychologically, and it's maybe attributed to maybe religion or the way we are brought up. But I think this lack of compassion and the brokenness in the way we're raised, I think that has a scar. It's a permanent scar in our mind, and the only way to improve that is by broadening our awareness, going to seminars, talking to people who are financially literate.
And you know what? It's nice that you said that, and it's even deadlier that some of these black folks will then have kids. You then make even efforts to, do you know that a lot of us, people are raised in the households where even some of your parents will be the one to tell you, no, you don't help him, no, don't tell him, no, you keep that to yourself, don't let him know this, block him out. They would even be the one to get into the brains of their children. Those children then grow up to be adults. They carry on in the same toxic way. They carry on in the same, it's a vicious cycle. It's a vicious cycle, man. It's just a vicious cycle that needs to go away.
Yeah, I agree with that. Thank you, Phrankleen.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Appreciate you. Let me see. Igomo Chris. Your audio is bad. Okay, try to go off and rejoin. All right. I think there's something wrong with your connection. Bring the next person. Yetun Day.
Hi, Phrankleen.
Hiya.
I'm a big fan of your show. I've been watching you for a really long time now from Canada.
Junaida, I can see you, brother. Can't wait to bring you on. Go on, please. Go on.
So, I have my own business here in Canada, and there was a time I decided to employ this African lady to do hair for people that come into the store to get their stuff. So she was doing the hair with me for almost 2 years. It was very busy, and it got so busy, and I decided to bring more ladies on board. From the minute she started seeing more people come on, she became very just nasty nasty to the other ladies. It stems from jealousy and a bit of religion there, almost like, oh, did you pray before you brought in my fellow sisters? It's how she would put it. Did you pray? Then I told her one time, I didn't pray before I brought you on.
Did you pray?
So yeah. So why do I have to pray before bringing people? People are employed based on skill set, talent, and what they could bring to the table. But she became so envious and jealous of the other ladies that she just could not believe that she was working with her sisters. Those are her sisters. We're all from different African countries. We're all the same people. But she just did not like the fact that there was more people coming on. The business was growing, but she just hated that. And those are the same people that would come in every day and pray, oh, God, please bless me. God, please bless me. But what's wrong with God blessing your fellow sisters?
Yep.
So it's just something about the Black race and just wanting to eat alone. Why do you want to be the only one working? What's wrong with sharing?
That's exactly what I've been talking about.
There's just something about just wanting to, let's all grow together. Let's all build together. You cannot be the only star. We can all be stars. There's room enough for everybody. We can all be stars. So it just boils down to, and I find the people who are the most religious are the worst people to just employ in general, because they just, they just take it to the next level. Everything is spiritual. Not everything is spiritual. We're not always being attacked. Sometimes you're the one attacking yourself. Eventually, I had to let go of that lady because she was just impossible to work with. So I think it's just something we need to learn moving forward. Just as a Black race, we can all rise together. The sky is big enough for everybody.
Absolutely.
Not just one person. And we're all sisters. That you have to look at it as, that's my brother, that's my sister. If you come into a society and you see your brother or sister struggling, you have to help them. And you have people coming in to say, oh, how do you mentor this person to get into your same line of business? How could you do that? Why do you want to do that? And it's like, why not? Why can't I help my sister to climb up? But you have people that would come to me and tell me, don't do that. You can't help her. Why would you want to tell her how to succeed? And these are the same people that would be the first one you see in church every Sunday praying. But then they would discourage you from helping others. There's just something just not cool about it. We can all rise together, and we can take cues from the Asian community. If you ever move to a new neighborhood, you'd see Indians, Asians, they're all over the place. They're bringing their people on board.
100%.
They're bringing their people on board. The highest employer in Canada is the government of Canada. If you ask a fellow Black person, how did you get in? How did you get in to this job? How did you get this role? I'm looking for step-by-step details on, well, apply this way, go this way. You would never get someone tell you step by step.
Never.
All you would hear is na God, oh. This is just something that, and it's like, okay, how did you get in? How did you apply to get in? The process to get in is very extensive. So for you to get in, there's a process. You're already in. How did you get in? How can you help somebody else to get in? But you would never find a Black person tell you the step by step. We're not going to pray our way to get in. There's a process to get in. But tell the other people the process. No. But guess what, Phrankleen? Once you get on in the government setting, you will see all the Chinese. They keep bringing their own people in. The Indians, they bring their own people in.
Of course.
But why do you want to be the only Black person working there? Why don't you bring more people in? If you're the only Black person in a nice neighborhood, that's bad. Bring your people to the neighborhood. Tell them, let them know. Bring them to the workplace. Let them know that, listen, get into the government, get a good job with the government, you're set for life. But no, my people don't tell you that. They don't tell you how to get in. I've never met anyone that's told me step by step, this is what I did to get in. It's always na God do am, just fast and pray, just fast and pray. Things like that's like, wait, what? Like, we're not going to fast and pray our way into this space. How did you get in? Same with buying a house. Ask people, how do you acquire assets? How do you acquire real estate? Real estate, it's an all-time, the best investment based on, I watch your shows all the time. Ask a fellow Black person, so how did you buy a house in this neighborhood? They would never tell you the step by step. Like, how is this possible? Or how did you start your business? Okay, well, let's sit down. Let's talk about it. I've never had anyone say that. So why don't you want to tell me about how to advance? But you're praying in church. What are you praying in church for then? What is the whole point of praying?
The moment you say to them, hey man, how can you help me? I see it, you're right. You're shipping cars to Nigeria from the UK. A brother would like to know, hey man, how can I ship in Nigerian food, gari, rice, and all those things? Somebody taught you. Somebody asking you. They just go and check on Google. There are a few. That's what they do. They run away. Right?
Yes, they literally just run away.
Maybe they're forced into a corner to give you information. They'll give you part information and they will block you out. They'll run away. Look, man.
There's just something about the black race. It's just something that's just bad, and it's universal across board. It's just nasty. It's a very terrible attitude and a terrible behavior. And I always tell people, if you're in a position to help somebody, no matter who it is, but especially your own fellow black person, it doesn't matter where you come from. We're all the same people. East Africa, West Africa, we're all the same people. Why do we have issues with hoarding information? What are you going to do with that information that you cannot share? Why can't you share this information? When I started my business, I had people coming in to ask me, how can I start this? You know what I started doing, Phrankleen? I started consulting with them. You know what? I'll sit down with you. You pay me for my hour's work of work. We'll sit down and talk about it. And now you're talking to people, you're engaging them. And some people will say, why are you doing that? You don't have to give out information like that. But what's wrong with doing that? Why can't you drive to a block and you see Black-owned businesses? What's wrong with that? But instead, you drive up to a plaza, you see the Chinese, you see the Lebanese, you see the Indian-owned businesses. Why can't we take over and have Black-owned businesses all over the city? Phrankleen, if you notice, all Chinese food, I'm not sure about in the UK, but over here, all the Chinese food, the menu is the exact same thing. They sell the exact same item. But
it's the same here. It's the same everywhere.
Thing. Yes, but guess what, Phrankleen? Every major plaza has a Chinese stakeout. They're ordering from the same people. They're selling us the same damn food. It's the same thing they're selling. So why can't we have that? Why can't we have that? Why can't we take over? That's the whole point of
let me give you this quickly before I bring on someone else. Yeah, I know like a friend. Yeah, watch this. There's two Nigerian guys here in the UK. So it's like, say, the friend A had a bit more capital. He told his other friend, come and join me as a partner in the particular business. So friend A, who actually birthed the idea, owns maybe 70%. Yeah. He could have easily maybe gone to the bank to take a loan or something, but they're childhood friends, yeah? It's like he just called his homeboy, like, dude, come join hands with me with a bit of money that you've got. This is this business, and you own 30% of it, yeah? This guy came on, and this is what I'm telling you about black folks, man. He came on, and the business was doing very well. And the parents of the guy that was earning 30% from the business, within the 2 shakes of a duck's tail, they poison his mind. Wow. I see Kia loving basically, for the purposes of people that don't understand Yoruba, the parent came up with these bollocks that, the friend who has a bigger share in the business must be using this other guy's spiritual data set.
Ridiculous.
Yeah, to make sure that he's a lot better. No, you numpties, your son has 30% investment. So whatever money they make, the person who has a 70% would always take the lion's share. A friend was gracious enough to bring you on board. But if you want to, even from your 30%, you can work, with your friend, make money from that 30%. If you have another business that you want to go establish, you can always do other investment for yourself. But do you see the mind of the average black person? Because why? He starts to look at you, then starts to look into your earnings, but you knew that from the day dot. That's what I'm saying, that you see all these Asians. You walk into an Asian grocery store, in a tiny little corner, you see one of their brothers that they cut out a space for. He's selling mobile phones, mobile phone accessories. He's selling you phone cards. He's fixing your mobile phones. He's putting screen protector on your phones and all these things. And those people, they keep their head down.
Yes.
And before you blink, within 2-3 years, that guy flashes away from that shop and goes and gets his own proper, bigger shop, and he's employing other people from their community. That smaller space that he used to use, they give it to someone else brand new.
Somebody else.
They're going to use that spot now.
It's all about representation. The more of your people you see doing well, the more you want to do well, period. We have to be represented. Have you ever noticed, Phrankleen, have you ever come across a business where it's like, who owns this space? You would always hear, oh, it's mine, it's just mine. Why can't we partner? What's wrong with partnership? Why can't we partner together? Because when you start partnering with your fellow brother or sister, you're going to hear your mom call you and say, oh, be careful of that person. Be careful. And then it gets worse to be, oh, well, they're Yoruba. Oh, they're Igbo. Please be careful. Watch yourself around them. You know, why can't we partner? What is wrong with partnership? Two heads, always better than one, all the time.
Absolutely.
But
Thank you, my sister.
Yes,
Let me bring on someone else.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very passionate. Thank you. To Niger.
Man, thanks, man. Thanks for having me. Man, this topic is it's a big one. I don't even know where to start. I think everybody has been, you know, man, it's just too big. Everybody has been narrating the woes of the way our people this thing tend to interact with each other. If I'm to look at this, I think I would like to start from the fact that our leaders are number one gatekeepers of them all.
Yes,
because what they really keep our people blind from the true nature of this world. And because if you don't belong, if you don't give people the sense that they belong to a family group, why would they see their own as one of their own? That's why the Indians rally to their own people, the Chinese rally to their own people, but our own, we think everybody's our friend. Like right now, our Africans actually think we don't have competitors, we don't have rivals. Nigerians don't think they have enemies. They don't think and that is because of our leaders. They don't tell them we have people we are competing against. Because if they know we are competing against so many people, they will rally together. They will want to say, okay, what's the other team? Where is the other team? Are they coming to our next door? Because we have so many foreign people coming into our continent, having military bases all over the place, and none of our people even bat an eye because they don't see them as a problem. Why would you treat your own person as your own person when your own family is like you have a family member that is one of your own, but your mother didn't tell you that, okay, that guy is your brother? You will not know. You will not know. You will treat him as every other person would treat that same person, even if it's your blood. And this is what is happening to our people. I think our leaders are at the forefront of this. I've seen it happen firsthand in terms of, like, I even know a friend of mine that did something similar to me where I went to him to share an opportunity that I just discovered. And he told me that he already knew about it. And he took a bigger advantage of it and he didn't tell me. Man, I gave him a serious talking to her the next year. the next year, the moment he sees any opportunity, I will be the first person he will call. So that you have to, the way I look at it is that we have to learn to be patient with one another. If you find one of your people doing some silly things like they want to be gatekeeping, just let them. And they are rising, isn't it? Let them rise. If you are good at what you do, you will rise. That's why I look at it. You don't need people to validate you. Your skill sets and what you've got to offer will validate itself. I've employed people before. I can tell you right now, it's not because somebody told me about this, somebody told me about it. That's the reason why I fire people. It's what you can do. That is why if you cannot do anything, then I can fire you. So if you are capable, don't worry about what your fellow Nigerian does and what your fellow Igbo man does, what your fellow black person does. Focus on what you can do for yourself. And sooner or later, if you are good, you will rise, notwithstanding anything. My bigger issue is that we as a family, we don't recognize each other when we are doing anything. If you know what's happening in Nigeria today, how everybody is clamoring against each other. It's like, man, it's a lamentable situation whereby our leaders don't tell us that we have problems. Why are our leaders keeping these things away from us? We have so many jobless people on the streets. We have people that don't have anything to do. Why are we not recruiting them to go and help and protect our people? We as a community, I can tell you right now, one lady said earlier on that a white person saw him and told her that, why do you people think like this? Yeah. Because it's coming from these things. Because they don't our people are like children in this world right now. We have a serious issue with threat evaluation. I think we had a discussion about it some time ago, and it's clear we don't even understand how to assess threat. We assess threat in our own people more than we assess threat in any other group. We will see our own person, we think, oh my God, this one wants to kill me. Like the other lady said, I make her the focus of my prayers. What? Seriously? This world, because your own person is your biggest enemy. We don't have a clue, even if we know the bigger picture where we talk about slavery and all colonialism and all the rest. We still don't understand because nobody's telling us and nobody's giving us any matching order. Let me give you this. All sub-Saharan African countries are the least defended in the world. If you think about it, this is why I say our leaders are the biggest gatekeepers. They are the least defended in the world. Why?
Absolutely.
Because if other countries are spending 2% of their GDP on security, why are we not doing that? Do we have any reason to think that we are more secure than other people? Why are we not even having even cheap labor where we have so many young people that don't have any jobs to do? Why are we not recruiting them into the military? Why are we not making our people pay for their security? Other countries do. Other countries pay their way through everything. They pay for their power supply. They pay for. Why are our leaders not doing the same thing? So I think our leaders are the ones keeping our people docile. They are keeping them. They are making them. You said earlier on that our people are very, very strong. We have all kinds of different distinct capabilities that we are not channeling at all. This I've seen young people on TV telling soldiers, "Give us your guns. Let us go and look for bandits," because they were so frustrated that they see people that are supposed to be doing something, they are not doing anything. And young people on the street got fed up and said, if you are not going inside the bush, give us your guns. Let's go and do it. This is the problem. You know, when they say in the Bible where, kings are walking on foot and the ordinary guys riding on horses, that's what's happening in Nigeria now and in Africa as a whole. If our people don't start waking up to the fact that we have rivals, everybody has talked about it here. The Chinese, they have their own shops. The Indians, they have their own things. We have rivals. We shouldn't be seeing ourselves as problems. We should be more patient with each other. I've worked in places whereby I've seen a guy that was very hostile to me at first. I was just in the mindset that, I don't care. Be hostile all you want, as long as I'm doing my job. Sooner or later, he turned. He turned. Our own person, he turned and became very, very one of my best friends. I think sometimes what they do is they do that to compensate from what other people think about them, because they fear that if they are nice to me, the white people will think that they are being partial. You see, you're not going to know that if you're not patient. That's what I feel. Then later on, he was the one that was coming to me, giving me information about what people said. I don't care, because I understand that what you can do is what gets you where you need to get to. So that is all I've got to say. If our people, we need to start seeing ourselves as family. When you start from there, see, not everybody will behave like one. But if you are aware of it, remember that that person you are reacting to is your family. Because the moment you start stopping the cycle, that's how it begins. Then you start recognizing that this is our family. Sooner, they too will recognize that may do it for some other person too. And I will never, ever, in this world we live in right now, given that our society, our communities need so much, we have been so hoodwinked for such a long time. I don't have energy going after my own. I really don't have any energy. If I see my own person, according to one guy, even if I see a black guy defraud me right now, I will say, keep it. You earned it. Keep it. I prefer it. As long as it's not a Chinese guy, it's not an Indian guy, keep it. That is how some people are desperate now to back their own. Because if your eye open enough, you start seeing the patterns. See, it's not because the other groups don't have problems. They're able to put
they definitely aside. Do. They definitely do.
They put their problems aside and start working as a group. How can we not learn that lesson? And this is where I think you are a leader here too. I know you are quite strong when you come at these things, these topics. So all this type of thing, when we start letting our people know these things, you will start seeing that their thinking will start changing. Because right now, when I look at my own country, in Nigeria there, you see how people are so focused on this tribal thing. I'm like, man, you can get everything you want.
It divides us.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's like fuel that they pour on our people and say, you know what, go at it, have a go at it. And they just start having a go at each other. They forget that.
And it doesn't stop. They just keep going.
It's like a machine that never gives up. Because you when anything happens, is based on tribe. That you know what happened to me recently? Somebody sent me a list of all Buhari's appointments. Say, look at how tribal it is. Then I counted it. Guess what? Some other groups are even overrepresented on that list. I said, is this the list you are saying is tribal? They don't even count because they just buy everything that they have been told. They don't look at what is happening on the ground in the country itself. And I blame our leaders. I think you can't blame. There's only one people you can blame about these things. It's our leaders. And why they feel like they can't tell the people the truth of where their situation, I don't know. Because Iran can do it. North Korea can do it. Other countries, China, Russia, all of them can tell you, oh, these people are your rivals. You need to be careful. Even Americans are telling Americans, don't do too much business with Chinese because they know they are rivals. Whom are our rivals? Is there anybody our Nigerian president has told us that, you know what, you need to watch out for these people. Whenever you see them, report it to us. Or maybe you should watch the way you behave a little bit. But nobody tells our people that. Our African leaders, if you check the amount of soldiers that are protecting our countries, you'll be shocked Africa is not on fire. It is crazy. We don't even recruit enough soldiers. These soldiers, you don't even need to buy sophisticated weapons. You just need to take tax from people and the same money that everybody is spending in the country to recruit them. Nobody's protecting their borders. Ghana has 15,000 soldiers for 30 million people. 30 million people. And they think they are secure. You are secure today. It doesn't mean tomorrow you're going to be secure. Things can just flip like that very quickly. And then who is going to defend the country?
You're quite right. I've said this before, man. If any of these Western countries just decides to shake up Nigeria, they can flatten that country in 5 minutes. They can run around its boundaries with the fighter jets and flatten the inhabitants like boom, like that. Because like you're saying, military-wise, oh my goodness. We're not
asleep. Completely asleep.
It's so disgraceful that you see Instagram videos where, you know, military soldiers are literally crying like, you know, they haven't given us weapon. We don't have, oh man. We're dying. We've got nothing. There was a video that I saw and I'm like, is this like a skit or is this for real? Like these men were actually saying, they were somewhere in the Sambisa forest or something. They were actually talking about being hungry. Bro, and these are people that are meant to defend a nation of 200 million people.
Imagine that.
Soldiers talking about, right now, I can do is pounded.
See, look at this simple solution. Can the government now, I know Nigerian government can take money from people's account directly. I know they take tax from people. Why can't they say, you know what, we want to pay for security in the country. Let's recruit 200,000, 300,000 extra soldiers. And Nigerians pay 1,000 naira every month to 2,000 naira every month. We'll take it from your accounts. They could do that and Nigerians will pay for it, but they will never do it. And this is what I mean by the gatekeeping. For some reason, these people want to keep Africans docile and undefended. It is scary for me when I saw those numbers. Like uniformly, most sub-Saharan African countries are underdefended. The manpower that they have, it's like the soldiers are just meant to keep the citizens in check, not to protect them. Not to protect them. The numbers are this in Algeria has 800,000 soldiers for 43 million people. 800,000 soldiers for 43 million. Nigeria of 200 million has 300,000. Ghana of 30 million has 15,000.
And from those, I mean, I've got to be honest. You know, when you say we have 300,000, that number might even be on steroids.
Half of them have taken a leave of permanent leave.
No, half of them, they have Canadian visas. They're in Canada.
Jesus Christ. See, you see, we don't have marching order. We don't have any purpose. This it fits into everything. This is why our leaders are our biggest gatekeepers. They are not telling the people what they need to do. We have 200 million people in Nigeria. You could easily recruit 2 million young men and use them to wash out all this Boko Haram and all this nonsense, and even match 500,000 into the Sahel if you wanted to. But you know what they do instead? They will invite the French over into the Sahel. They will invite the Americans into Africom in Niger. This is the thing that they do. And we have to start realizing that our leaders, we have to start realizing where they are really failing.
Sorry to cut you tonight, right? I saw a video the other day. Somebody sent it to me. 2 a.m. at night, I sat laughing like crazy by myself. There's a couple of Nigerian soldiers. I don't know where they were in the bush, and they were talking about they needed medication to treat malaria. And one of them was talking in the background that he can use bread and beans at this. And I was thinking, these guys are not even talking about what is going on. They're not interested about the ongoing terrorism. They're talking about malaria drugs and how they need bread and beans to step down, you know. I nearly died laughing, but I just thought, man, this...
And I think that's the consciousness that needs to start changing. Our people need to start knowing that we have to pay for our security. You can't expect other. See, you can't believe how many Nigerians are willing to say, call Americans to come and help us. It's like you want to call another woman's husband to come and save you. What are the men in the country doing?
Another woman's husband to come and save.
No, that is the truth. What are you doing? What is as if, you know, Nigerians are some of the most competitive people. We go anywhere, we try to strive and everything, and yet when it come to the homeland, they were like, you know what, let's call Americans to come and save us. You know, the British people said our problem is development. No, our first problem in any country you have, if that country is not secure, you are going to have problems continuously. You're going to have endemic problems.
You said it to Niger, right? It's intentional. It is intentional to, you know, that they are gatekeepers, like you said, the leaders. All of these things that you are unpacking now, it's intentional to leave the people exposed. It's intentional. Just like what you just said briefly about having more soldiers. You think these things are not doable. There are people with bright minds, man. But it's intentional. Yeah. It's just intentional. Bro, sorry, I'm gonna have to.
Man, I think I've overstayed actually. Thank you very much.
It's fine. I appreciate it. In fact, I need to bring you back, man. I'll find a way to reach out to you. We'll talk about there's some things you've mentioned. I'll have to listen back to it, and we'll find time to come and proper smash it. But thank you, bro. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. So that's me done. Tinuala, I can see you in the background. Forgive me. Hopefully next show I'll be able to bring you back on. My battery is blinking. That's why I had to say we'll bring the show to an end so that it just doesn't cut off. Thank you for listening, for the fantastic contribution. It's actually almost 2 hours. Wow. It's great. Send me your stories if you have any stories for me to foodchannel1960@gmail.com. If you're interested in buying parcel of lands, if you're interested, send me an email to foodchannel1960@gmail.com and I'll send you the application pack. It's your boy Phrankleen. Thank you to Niger. Thank you, Mbali. Thank you to everyone that's contributed. It's a fantastic, fantastic session. And I will most definitely catch you in the very next one. But for now, to Black Excellence, I'll catch you in the very next one. Peace and love, man.